What's up, everybody? I'm energized. I'm Matthew. Jeremy, you're super stoked and energized, correct?
Jacked out of my skull, I'll tell you what.
Welcome to another episode of Exhuming the X-Files here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. Jeremy, it's like I haven't talked to you in quite a while. I mean, it's been a week, right? At least a week.
At least a week, yeah. Good to hear your voice again. So soon.
Well, we are here, folks. We are at the end of our 8-episode Death March. If you're brand new to the show, we basically decided to watch 8 episodes in a row back to back and then do 8 podcasts back to back. We've been sitting here for, 4.5 hours at this point. So it'll be 5 hours before we're done. I think we've made it through, right?
Yeah, no, we haven't snipped at each other. I haven't said fuck you yet and meant it. I think we're
Yeah, I think we're getting a little low energy on the last episode, but we're back with a vengeance here. We're going to talk Paper Hearts, directed by Rob Bowman, written by Vince Gilligan, creator of Breaking Bad. This is an episode that I remembered as a kid, and did you remember this one at all?
I did not, but
Okay.
there's so many things in this episode that crosses over with my very favorite episode of this entire series that it shocked me.
Really?
It was weird watching this episode. Yeah.
Okay. This is Paper Hearts. Let's get right into it. Episode 10 of season 4. How's this one start?
So Mulder wakes up because apparently he just watches porn and passes out on his couch a lot. And there's this laser just pointing at his ceiling and it starts moving along the wall. So naturally, Mulder's going to follow it because his cat instincts won't let him do anything else. It ends up leading him, or it says, follow me, I believe, or something like that. Like the laser becomes a word real quick and then turns back into a laser dot. So he ends up following it out of his apartment and to a state park where it flashes briefly on a car that says, suddenly becomes the word Mad Hat.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how long has he been fucking following this laser? Just he's at a state park, and I know he doesn't live next to a state park, but he follows the laser kind of into a wood line a little bit, just over the edge of kind of a ridge. He sees this little girl like laying like she's in a casket, kind of. The laser kind of makes a little heart over her chest on her PJs, and then she gets sucked into the ground. And then all of a sudden, like Mulder wakes up. He gets into his ugly ass Ford Taurus and finds the spot where the dream just brought him to. And he goes to where the girl was in the ground, calls for a forensic dig at 5 a.m. Which apparently, if that happens, like Scully just gets an alert that like, hey, Fox is asking for some crazy shit, so can you come out here and figure out what he's doing? And sure enough, they find a child's skull, and then we get the title screen.
Awesome opening. I really like this opening. I thought it had that nice mix of like confusion of like what the hell is going on, because I'm like, why is there like a red laser pointer that's bouncing all around the countryside and Mulder's out there following it. It was weird. I thought it worked well as like a dream sequence. I wasn't really even suspecting it was a dream sequence for whatever reason, so it did get me there. And then the idea that like he's having these dreams and he found this girl dead. It was a cool opening. I was into it from the beginning.
These are one of the, like, we had a couple episodes ago where he was dealing with a serial killer and he wasn't himself in it.
Oh yeah.
And it was just the way that it was written. It just wasn't, he wasn't the profiler. He wasn't like, this is what he's the very best at. Why so many eyes at the FBI was on him about. And I don't know. It just didn't feel like that episode was written that way. This one, however, feels like from the very beginning that we're watching not something necessarily supernatural, but more about the detective side of Mulder. And it was all very smart throughout this beginning part of it, and I liked it very, very much. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool.
So we get past the title screen because, of course, Scully is very, very curious as to why he's digging up little girls' dead bodies on a Sunday morning. And he says he's been having a dream about this girl for the last 3 nights, and that somebody that he locked up in his past, a fella named John Lee Roach, killed this girl, but Mulder caught him. And so Scully does this very smart thing of explaining away how he found the body because the body had been there since 73, I think.
Yeah, long time.
So it wasn't Mulder, of course. But he explains the way that you've been thinking about this for so long. You've been thinking about, this guy that, and you're so good at being this profiler and this finder of serial killers that you actually solved this particular crime like in your sleep.
Yeah.
And I could buy that because the guy obsesses about shit quite a bit. And if you
Yeah.
just have a dream where you follow a laser like that, I could see that happening in a dream for spooky Mulder.
Yeah. And it's cool when X-Files actually has the two of them when their theories actually are plausible. Because sometimes, it's just, when Mulder's saying something ridiculous and Scully's saying something, it just like it doesn't work. But in this case, it's like, oh yeah, that makes absolute sense as to why that would happen.
And yeah, it worked in the real world without any sort of supernatural or government thing going on. I actually kind of thought for a second that because in the last couple of episodes he was infected with the black oil thing, that maybe something has changed about Fox, that he's prescient or
Mm.
something. He could see the future or the past, but that all goes
Do
away really, really quickly.
By the way, do we ever see the black oil leave Mulder in the last episode? I mean, or he gets doused with it. It's clearly in him, but do we ever actually see it leave him?
Yeah, no, we'd never see him take a shit in the episode, so I don't know.
Ah, okay. Yeah, you could still have it in him then. Yeah.
he, he without a doubt does. But we'll learn more about that in the movies, I guess, as to what the point of it is.
Okay.
I don't think they
Hit
explain
that
it.
like and subscribe, folks.
Yeah. See you in a few weeks. Let me see. They what is it? They find that this girl, like part of her PJs was cut away in a heart shape. And that goes back to the paper hearts. Like, didn't they call him the paper hearts killer?
Yeah.
Because he took little heart-shaped cuttings of their pajamas.
Yeah. And there were
Um,
13 girls.
at this point,
Yeah.
they go and visit the girl's father to explain, what had happened to his daughter, and he's like, "I'm glad that my wife died before she could hear this terrible news." And asks, "Do you have anybody else that you need to tell this terrible news to?" And basically, like, kind of sticks in Mulder's head a little bit. It's like, yeah, if this happened 13 times and he only confessed for 12, maybe there are more. And maybe I need to look further into this. And so he does at one point do the little Mulder grasping onto a thread that never existed otherwise thing, that the only thing in common that they really didn't look into was the white El Camino with the topper that he used to drive way back when he was murdering these children way back in the day.
Yeah.
So they find the dude that bought it and was restoring it. And you got to keep in mind that this was back in the 70s. Didn't he bust this dude in the 80s
Yes.
and send him to prison? So it's the 90s. It's been 10 plus years since this car was sold and sold and sold again, and now it's getting restored. And they're like, well, they didn't really check it, so Mulder's going to check it now. What does he do? And the first thing they do when they get in the car, what is the first thing they search? The
The
fucking
first
glove
thing.
box.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, come on. This
And
has
then
been.
oh, go
And
ahead.
then,
Go ahead.
and then he, yeah, don't go ahead. He fucking takes his knife
And then
out.
like carves up the guy's seat that he's just restored. He's like, "I'm just
Yeah,
doing a little detailing." It's like,
yeah, it
"What
was a
the fuck? You
nice.
can't do that, dude."
Yeah, he was a, he it had been clearly reupholstered. I could even see that in 480p. It looked good, and Mulder just cut that seat open.
Yeah, and that kid
I-
was so excited too. He's like, "I got a serial killer's car? Oh, wow." And Mulder just fucking ruins it for this kid.
And so he doesn't find it stabbing open the seats, but in his brain he's remembering his dream where the laser flashed up on the El Camino while it was at the state park, and it flashed on the camper topper thing that was no longer on the vehicle. Mad Hat.
Yeah.
And so he goes charging into this kid's yard, finds the camper topper, pulls it out, starts pulling the cloth cover out, and finds Alice in Wonderland, the book, and opens it up and finds 16 little cloth. Was it 16?
Yeah. Yep.
Little cloth hearts. Well, then why did.
So Mulder thought, or everyone thought, that he killed 13, and then Mulder's
Okay,
dream in the
13,
prologue
not
made
12.
14, and then when they open up the Alice in Wonderland book, they find 16. So there's two additional
Gotcha.
victims they
But
don't know of.
my head math was wrong. I thought he only confessed to 12, but no, you're right. It was 13. They found the 14th, and all of a sudden they have to investigate two more. And so they go to this guy who's shooting hoops shooting hoops, and straight up Mulder's like, you can put these kids to rest. You can confess it. Like, there's nothing in it for me. There's
Yeah,
no advantage in it for me at all.
guy doesn't
But I'll
care at
tell
all.
you. But I'll tell you what you want to know. If you sink this three and pitches in the ball, Mulder does not even fucking hesitate. Puts it up, nothing but net. Like,
Swish.
sick shot right off the bat. Doesn't fucking tell him. Doesn't like doesn't
Well,
tell him.
he's like, "Oh, you trust a child molester?" And then he just walks away
Yeah.
from Mulder. It's like, and that's when the episode got real dark, because it's like, okay, it's like the thing with Freddy Krueger, right? Where originally Freddy Krueger, like, was initially conceived as a child molester, but then when they made the movie, they were like, "Oh, he's just a child killer. We're not gonna actually go that far in the movie and actually state he's a child molester." And in this guy, not only is he killing these girls, but he just casually admits that he's a child molester as well. And you're like, "Oh God, this is a bad dude, man."
But he does tell Mulder that if he brings him all of his cloth hearts, that he'll tell him everything that he knows. So Mulder is going over the hearts, like flipping through an evidence book that they're now all logged in. And then the magical laser that tells him all of the answers shows up. So apparently he fell asleep like Nightmare on Elm Street style,
Yeah,
and starts following the laser into the scene where Samantha gets abducted. Only and everything is the same. Only he doesn't see his kid self, and I thought that part was kind of cool because he acted through the things that he had said in real life as an adult,
yeah,
and all of a sudden, the light turned on, the bright light turned on, everything starts shaking, but the door opens, and it's Roach. It's not aliens. It's Roach there to abduct his sister. And so he goes back and starts talking to Roach about, who are these two? And he starts telling him stuff about where he was back in 73 when his sister was abducted. Like, he was in Martha's Vineyard. And he tells Mulder the exact model of vacuum that he had
yeah,
sold his dad for his mom. And it's just Mulder ends up going to his mom's house and finding the exact model of vacuum cleaner in the basement and confirming it. So
yeah,
this episode starts getting really, really weird. Like, okay, did this guy kidnap Mulder's sister and fucking murder her?
yeah.
Uh,
Has the whole alien thing been wrong the entire time, and he was just using that to bury this traumatic event or something of this creepy fucking weirdo coming in and like taking his sister and killing his sister because he thinks that one of these two hearts might belong to Samantha. He even has his mom. He's like, "Can you see this? Like, does this ring a bell? Like, anything?" And she's like, "I had a stroke." And he's like, I'm sorry." But he's like freaking the fuck out because his entire world is potentially has collapsed here if this guy actually killed her and not aliens abducting her.
And it gets even weirder because he goes back for a second interview, and he starts telling him even more. Tells him that Watergate was on TV.
Yeah.
Tells him that they were playing Stratego. Tells him exactly what Fox said out loud. And what's weird is that Fox kind of looks at him funny when he's calling all of this stuff out. Like, did you read my case file where I talk about this abduction kind of thing? Because they hint that he had internet access and maybe he found out all of this
Yeah.
information about Fox
I think
online
Scully says
somewhere.
that because Scully's trying to convince Mulder, like, look, he could have just found out all this information through public records and things of that nature.
And I found that plausible. I'm sorry, or I'm weirded out that they didn't circle back around to that because the way Fox looks at him when he starts saying these specific of things, like how could you possibly know what I was saying in that room at that time about what I wanted to watch
Yeah.
outside of reading that? Because I remember they did read that at some point in the past in one of the episodes, but I'm kind of wading out in the weeds there. Um, he says, you know what, I'll tell you. He gives him a 50-50 shot. He pushes the hearts back towards Mulder and says, you know, you pick which one is Samantha and I will tell you where that person is. And sure enough, he goes out to where the guy says the body was, and Mulder digs by hand and ends up uncovering a little heart shaped
Yeah.
cloth.
Scully's like, let's get a team out here. He's like, help me, Scully. Dig with your hands, woman.
Mulder hangs out with the body long enough to realize that it's not Samantha due to a collarbone fracture that didn't exist on the skeleton.
As an aside, I will say that David Duchovny did an excellent job acting in this episode. I thought he brought his A game to, the trauma of what possibly might have happened to his sister here.
The Samantha ones he always does, it seems like.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if David Duchovny has a sister and he was just able to dig into that well or something like that, but all of them that involve her seem to conjure his best acting out of him for sure. When it comes to the last one, Roach won't show him where Samantha potentially is unless Roach goes with him. And Scully tells him like, "No, fuck you. You can rot in prison forever." As far as I care, but
Well, and it's because he says, I can't wait to see the look on your face. And then Scully freaks the fuck out on this guy. A beyond the sea type freaking the fuck out a little bit on this dude because she knows like this guy that's basically gonna crush Mulder, you know. He might not come back. He might be Brad Pitt in Seven. That might be what's on the horizon here if he takes this guy out to find his dead sister.
that's in the box. Uh, but it eats Mulder up too much. He's too curious, and he ends up ordering a prisoner transfer. Takes him out, puts him on a plane, and as soon as he escorts him to go to the bathroom, the fucking creepo starts talking to a little girl
Oh
that's on the
yeah.
plane. I'm like, oh god, that's just gross.
This dude, Tom Noonan, he's in a lot of stuff. If you ever watch the 12 Monkeys TV show, I really like that show. He's in that. This guy is awesome as this creepy sex predator. It's unsettling watching this guy.
Skinner gets pissed off at Scully that she didn't have a leash on Mulder short enough to stop him from doing this.
Where were
So they're
you?
like,
Well, I
where,
went to sleep.
I have a life that's not just sitting on him, but still pissed him off. They're like, we need to go stop him before he does something stupid. Mulder takes Roach out to some plastic wrap place at the cabin on the lake we've been at in the past, where we found the shiv inside the lamp, if I remember right, the
Yeah, yeah.
alien sticker. And he the he goes through the whole encounter, says where she was sitting, where the television was, finds out that he's in fact a liar. That where they're sitting at was a cabin that his dad didn't buy until after his sister was abducted. But he does accuse him randomly of being in his dreams, of being
Yeah.
connected to him through some sort of nexus. But that settles that. He doesn't believe him anymore. Doesn't believe it's Samantha anymore. So they go to bed in a hotel, and Fox has a dream. Samantha is, or he follows the laser. He sees Samantha in the white El Camino with the topper outside that he had in the 70s. She's screaming, "Help me, Fox! Let me out!" And he tries to break her out of the car, and then wakes up after seeing the word "die" when the laser becomes "die," and then realizes that Roach is gone, has handcuffed him to the table, and left with his badge, his gun, and his car. And I wrote, Mulder should see the inside of a jail cell for this.
Oh, 100%. I love though when Skinner shows up and he's basically like, "What the fuck were you thinking? He took your gun. He took all of that shit from you." And then of course when we find out what Roach did with it, it's just kind of like, "Oh man, he's got to
Not,
go to jail. Got to."
not even, yeah, it never gets better, and they never address it.
Nope.
But we'll get there. He finds out that Roach kidnapped the little girl from the plane that he talked to previously because he called the airport, got the flight manifest, found out the address for this little girl, shows up at the little girl's like daycare and says, I'm an FBI agent and I need to take this little girl out of daycare because something happened to the mom. The daycare lady is just freaking out once the
Yeah.
cops show up. They're like, what did I do to this little girl? I'm never gonna forgive myself. And
That's the correct reaction to have.
sure, it was well acted. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry I sounded a little insensitive there. I
Flippant.
I am quite tired. uh they find that he had like some sort of pad in Boston because he normally takes these girls out of state and does these things, but he knows he's going to be caught. He knows the jig is up, so he's going to do this somewhere short range in order to just get his what he's going to do to this little girl over with as soon as possible, and find out that he has a pad somewhere in Boston. So they they break open this apartment. It's completely abandoned. There's no real sign that he ever brought girls there. But Mulder, doing what he is, the cloud of bullshit descending upon him, sees some sort of bus car graveyard next door
It was
and
odd.
leads everybody towards it for no discernible reason. He hops a 20-foot fence while everybody else tries to figure out how to get in the front door. And as soon as he clears the fence, then he can hear a girl screaming.
Mhm.
Tracks the girl down, finds that they're sitting on a bus. He has his ankle piece out because he's got a. We find out, I guess, for the first time that he's got a gun holster strapped to his ankle.
Yeah, Scully had that in a previous episode, like a couple seasons ago, right? Didn't she have an ankle gun?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
and he pulls that piece out. The dude is at the back of the bus with a gun pressed to the gun in the back seat, aimed at the little girl. Mulder just draws on him, tries to convince him to leave and not do this, but the guy clearly isn't going to leave without killing this girl. He starts hearing the squeaking of the trigger being pulled and doesn't even hesitate, just executes this fucking killer, shooting him through the head.
Well, I like that Roach still is putting doubt in Mulder's mind because he's like, "You can't kill me. Otherwise, you're never gonna know who that last heart belongs to. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Are you sure? Are you 100% sure that it's not Samantha?" Yeah, and then, when Mulder sees that thing, he just boom, another episode where boom,
Just
gunshot
blasted.
to the head, dead.
And then I wrote Mulder would 100% be in jail for this.
Oh, 100%, yeah. Because from everyone else who's watching at the front of the bus, Skinner and Scully, all they could see is like it just looks like Mulder stand there and just literally executed him. It's Mulder's word, be like, oh yeah, he was pulling the trigger. Like, really? Where's your evidence for that?
I think they'd cover for him.
Oh
That
sure,
was a bad dude.
oh sure.
Afterwards, Scully does an analysis of the last heart. Basically, comes up with some sort. Just says it couldn't be Samantha, and that they will find her. And he says how, or that find the last girl, the 16th girl.
Yeah, because Scully says it's not Samantha because basically the age of the ink on the cloth it's like from 1967 to 1974, so it's within the time period Samantha was abducted. But Scully says it's not Samantha, and then Mulder, basically, and she was like, "We'll find the last girl," and Mulder's like, "How? How?"
Because she knows Mulder and she knows he won't give up.
Yeah.
And we got to the end.
Yeah, and Mulder's unsure. We don't know. Is that last heart, did it belong to Samantha or did it not? Was Roach fucking with them the whole time or not? A couple of quick things I want to mention about this episode, just little things. There was a buzzkill moment from Scully in this when they're at the jail and Mulder punches Roach, and then the guard runs in and Roach is like, "Oh man, dude, he punched me," and the guard's like,
Okay, I didn't see that.
I didn't see it. And Scully really walks back and she's like, I did. I'm like, Scully, come on." Let Mulder punch the child molester. It's going to be okay. The other thing that I thought was really interesting in this episode, a very telling moment, is when Mulder's like really obviously screwed up about this whole potential Samantha thing. And he actually asks Scully, he's like, do you even believe that me when I say my sister was abducted by aliens? He's like, have you ever believed me? And she just like looks away, like, and it's clear, like she's basically stating like, I don't believe that aliens took your sister, dude. And I felt like that was a really interesting moment, that she was not willing to lie to him about something like that. Like, of course I believe that aliens took your sister. It was just like, just the look on her face, was like, no, I don't actually believe this. There's some other explanation for it, but she doesn't
But
want to be like it's Roach.
he was also kind of going along with it. It's like it's more plausible that this happened, and I'm kind of coming around to
Oh yeah,
believing that that was it.
yeah. I think the thing that I didn't. Okay, I will go ahead and say like I love this episode. I thought this episode was fantastic. The thing that I did not quite like about it was that thing you mentioned towards the very end when Mulder's like, we have some sort of weird nexus connection. You can see through my eyes. You saw everything. Like, I don't know if it's like a dream and Roach was messing with them. If that would have been weaved a little tighter into the story as to like what that was, or was that just Mulder coming up with some bullshit excuse to try to explain all of this? Because I wasn't sure. Was there a supernatural element? Is that what they were trying to get at in this episode, or was that just Mulder coming up with something off the top of his head to try to justify how Roach would know all of these specific things, like the literal words he was saying and the stratego and all of that stuff. So I thought that was a little weak in the overall episode, but I thought this was awesome. Like, I don't even have a ton of notes on my notepad for this because I was just so kind of engrossed in
Enthralled.
what I was watching that I wasn't really writing notes to it. But I guess I really am finding out upon this rewatch is I am really liking these X Files episodes that are involving serial killer type stuff. What was the one with the girl who could see the Jewel State, the girl from Firefly who was kidnapped? That was really really good. But it's like this realistic, sort of grounded serial killer type stuff, and I thought this
Yeah.
was awesome. I thought this was an excellent episode.
Well, they do. They have a tendency to write it a lot more grounded, and it makes it, even the mystery stuff, feel real. Like with the supernatural stuff, I would have liked it more if they really would have played up the, you know, did he get on the internet and read about this shit, or does he have some sort of connection, mysterious connection to Mulder? And really, like, driving it home that we don't know. It could have been either things, and but anyway, to help it stay grounded in the reality of that world that we live in, instead of some of the more fantastic cloud of bullshit stuff that we get. But this, as I said in the beginning of this episode, this was, I don't remember this episode, but this was basically a copy of my favorite episode, which comes up in a couple of seasons, where Mulder finally says goodbye to Samantha and kind
Mm,
of puts it behind her, because they bust some sort of year-round Santa Claus thing where people go to sit on Santa Claus's lap and ask for presents and stuff. And they find out that Santa was a serial killer, and how he killed a bunch of children, and how he selected victims was that he was recording them on a hidden camera in his little Santa Claus shack.
mm.
And as the FBI was going through all of their tapes, they find a video of Samantha the Christmas before she was abducted.
Oh, see, I don't even remember that episode.
Oh, I believe or directed by Gillian Anderson. It had
Oh, really? Okay.
a Moby soundtrack, which was great all the way through. But in the end, Mulder. It's after dark, and Mulder is walking through the basically the graveyard of these maybe hundreds of bodies of little kids that the FBI is still digging up, and he's walking with like the ghost of his sister at that point, because he thinks, maybe she's amongst these bodies here,
Mm.
and he just kind of lets it go. And it was just a beautiful ending to an episode. And when I saw this, I'm like, did they really revisit that a few seasons from now on that? Because I don't remember Paper Hearts at all.
Yeah. So what were your overall thoughts? Do
Oh,
you
I thought it was excellent.
Okay.
I wish that I don't they chose to ground this one in reality, and they should have just stayed there without any supernatural stuff. If I could have
Yeah.
chose anything to change, take that stuff out of it and just leave the I figured this out in my dream because I'm an analytic dude
Yeah.
and I obsess about stuff like this. I can accept that at face value. But the Nexus stuff was just it it just completely missed me.
And it felt so throwaway, right? Because it's just a few lines of dialogue that Mulder says while he's kind of like yelling at this guy, and it's unclear. It's like, are we supposed to take that seriously? Like that's literally what's going on, because we don't see any of that from Roach's side of things. Like there's no shot of Roach seeing through the eyes of Mulder or anything like that. So it's just, you know, it's interesting. I guess you can interpret it either way. It could be a supernatural element, or it could just be Mulder trying to justify in his own mind how Roach could have known this stuff. But I guess the ultimate question is, do you believe that Roach killed Samantha or not?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it's well, I suppose, unless the aliens came and got her DNA before Roach came and killed her and then cloned her.
I don't
We've-
I don't know. I mean, that would just throw off the fact that maybe those aren't clones. That's just a lie. Those are just people.
yeah,
I mean, they are alien clones, but they're not Samantha.
yeah. Interesting. Interesting. All right. Well, folks, we got some quick fun facts. I was going to say we've made it through 8 hours, but we haven't actually yet. So, Paper Hearts was written specifically with Tom Noonan in mind for the role of Roach, and was amongst the first television work the actor had done. Noonan later recounted that the crew really loves the show and loves working on it, so it was really fun to do. Writer Vince Gilligan came up with the concept for the episode when thinking about the series' longest running storyline, the abduction of Samantha Mulder. Gilligan came up with a story questioning whether Samantha had not been abducted by aliens, but was rather murdered by a child killer instead. He decided to help convince Fox Mulder of this through a series of prophetic dreams. The laser lights in Mulder's dreams were influenced by Gilligan's experience with laser holograms while he was a film student. The laser was supposed to be the color blue, but was changed to red in production to reduce costs. Wanting to include some kind of the fetish for the killer, Gilligan settled on having Roach cut heart shaped fragments from his victim's clothing, thinking that having him humiliate his victims' bodies would be going too far. Guest actor Tom Noonan, who played the killer John Lee Roach, recalled filming the scene in which his character is introduced playing basketball in prison. Noonan, a capable basketball player, was asked to downplay how well he could play. He regretted not being able to play against David Duchovny, who had played basketball for Princeton University. So there you go.
No shit.
There you go. According to Wikipedia, which never lies. Um, Episode writer Vince Gilligan and director Rob Bowman assert that Duchovny's successful basketball shot in this scene was filmed in just one take without special effects.
Oh, I believe it. Like he did not hesitate. That ball hit
Yeah,
his hands. He put it up, and it was just in. It was beautiful.
yeah, it was swish. While the episode was the eighth produced of the season, it was the 10th aired, having been delayed to free up production resources for the two-part episodes Tunguska and Terma. The episode's climactic scene was filmed in a bus graveyard in Surrey, British Columbia, a location which had been scouted months previously with the intention to eventually include it in an episode of the series, although filming at the location did not even last a full day despite the long wait to use it. And that's it, folks. Those are your fun facts for Paper Hearts, a fantastic episode of the X Files. We're into goodness in season 4, and I think uh, we, I'm excited to finish out the rest of this at some point in time. We're gonna obviously we have 2 months of episodes in the bag at this point. But Jeremy, we have finished our
Our
eight
death march.
episode death march. We've been together for well over 5 hours now at this point in time, just recording episode after episode. How do you feel, buddy?
I'm ready to go to bed.
Yeah, it's 11:06 here, folks. We started at 6 o'clock, and only took a brief, like 2-minute break to grab some water. So, thank you, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe. Join us next Friday for another episode of eXhuming the X Files. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you then.